Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Fight Court. I'm Dean Thomas, your boy, joined alongside with my man Ryan Quinn, and today we got a very special guest, and I'm going to bring him in without further ado because I spoke to him the other day, and this man does exactly what he says he's going to do. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Got a couple little bumps and bruises from beating this guy up, but besides that, I'm good.
I mean, you look good.
You look fantastic, but I'm going to tell you, man, you know, it's tough in this game because everybody says something. Everybody says they want to do certain things, and most people ain't really built that way. Most people, it's easy to talk about what you want in this game, much more difficult to deliver. You said, I'm going to get in this dude's face. I'm going to put pressure on him. And when you were warming up, I was watching the clips of you warming up, and I actually sent that to some of my people. It was like, yo, this is how you do it, man. This is how you mix it up. Then you went out there and you beat up a very dangerous guy. Tell me about that, man. How was the experience for you? And did it go exactly the way you wanted, or was there like a couple of little ifs and ands that maybe you could have went a little different?
Yeah, no, there's always ifs and ands, you know what I mean? Like, you watch the film and you're like, fuck, I should have done this, this, and that. But it's what it should have, could have. And I've gotten better every fight. I did a lot better this time on just like using my hands and trusting my hands to get in on the shots. I wasn't diving like on Kopolov. So there's takeaways from everything, you know what I mean? I'm slowly getting more comfortable in there, and I'm just starting to show all my stuff. So it's a blessing. But the dude fucking caught me in the very beginning, pissed me off, and I was like, all right, fuck this guy, dude. I'm gonna beat his ass. And then after that, like, he started breathing really heavy. I thought at least I'd get like 2 crazy rounds out of him. And it wasn't even that. It was just like I started just faking and getting him biting, and he got nervous, and then I brought out the nervous energy and just kept poking until I was able to get him out of there.
No, that's a unique skill set, man. I remember, you know, when I was coming up in my day, it was rumored that like Eve Edwards would like listen. And this was the first time I ever heard. He would like listen for people's breathing. And when they started getting tired, he knew he had them. Was that something that you just inherited, or did somebody tell you, hey, listen for his breathing, or was just in the moment, you was like, yo, I heard this dude breathing heavy, so I knew I had him? No,
I mean, I studied like, I grew up in a fucking like farm and just studying animals and stuff. And like, you just study boxing and stuff, with fighting. Like, I'm Mexican, but my grandpa and them always had boxing fights on. They're always just saying shit. And like, just my family is super big into fighting. 'Cause there's 5 brothers. And they just kind of always said shit, and I just always paid attention. And I honestly didn't think I was ever going to be a fighter. It kind of just all worked out that way. We just like to fuck around a lot. But no, it's the art of war, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different things you look for in a fight or a fighter. You look for, like, I usually feel like the first minute or so I get someone figured out, just by body signs and reading the body language and stuff. Like, I'm trying to break down everything, you know what I mean? Take away dangerous weapons and just demoralize them, basically. That way I can get a win.
Well, you did a good job at that. You know, it's funny you bring up the breathing, and you know how breathing translates to so many different things. You know, I remember when my son was born, we're in the delivery room. You know, we didn't take the Lamaze or nothing like that, but I just know breathing from working out. And I'm going to my wife, 1, 2, okay, you got 3 more seconds. And dude, we were just in sync to the point where the nurses were like following me. It's like, yeah, man, you know all about that. But what Dean left out was when he took that video, those people he was sending it to was Michelle Pereira's cornerman. But anyway, that's how friend Dean is. Listen, Anthony, congratulations. I do have a couple questions that, you know, I love the performance. Very similar to the way I used to fight. Very effective. First is, have you watched the fight yet? Have you rewatched it?
Yeah, I've watched it a couple times.
Yeah. Okay. So, man, obviously, you know, going to the ground, that was the game plan. That's where you're at. But you were connecting pretty hardcore with the boxing. You were definitely outstriking him and beating him. At any time, like, and I know I've been there. So, like, I know that you're probably already at this spot. But was there any point where you're watching, like, fuck, I could have landed a few more. I should have finished that exchange. I should have.
No.
And I know it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. Like I said, I just watched it again today. But
no, I'm right there with you. Like, He's fucking big and dangerous, man. He caught me with a
Yep.
couple knees to the sternum, and I was like,
Hmm.
"You son of a bitch, man."
Yeah.
I just had to really mind my P's and Q's, but no, I should have honestly like backed off a little and finished him on his feet.
Well, yeah.
I
Well,
could
it's
have I
hard. I
could
get
have
it.
hit him in the
Trust me.
body and stuff, but you know what I mean. It's like at the end of the day, I needed to be safe, and I needed to
Hmm.
do whatever it takes to get the goddamn belt. And then I feel
Right.
like once you get the belt, then you can fuck around a little bit and throw some wild shit.
Yeah.
But because the money's there, you know what I mean. But I'm still trying to get there. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you saw it because your hands are pretty damn good. Just remember that. And
Thank you, man. I
the other thing is
appreciate
you're
that.
in fucking crazy shape. And like as much as I just said that you were striking to go to the ground, you had serious pressure both prodding forward and serious control on the ground. Do you do anything special for strength and conditioning, or it's just the rounds, putting in the rounds, putting in the work within the
Dude,
round?
my strength and conditioning coach is just like he's a fucking stickler. Thank you. He's a stickler, and dude, he just fucking every rep has to be to his perfection. And if you act like a little bitch at all in the fucking rep and you start half-assing, he'll be like, "Nah, fuck that. Restart from the very beginning." And sometimes, like, man, sometimes other people are little bitches and they fuck up your workout, and you gotta like reset so many times. But just going with him has helped me like lock the fuck in and like nothing matters. You know what I mean? You just got to get
Right.
through this shit and go. That's what a fight is. You know what I mean? Like all that shit fucking eventually hurts after, but
Hmm.
you got to lock the fuck in and just get on that motherfucker. It's you or him, and I would rather it be him every single fucking time.
Bingo. Love it.
Anthony, I need you to clarify something for me because today we were talking about you on Sirius XM, me and Alan Joban,
Uh,
and we were talking, and I was trying to remember what you said about you when you were little. You used to fight with your brothers all the time, and y'all would have to fight for 30 minutes, and you just fought for, and I was, and this goes back to your cardio issue, and I said, I don't think cardio is an issue for him because it's never been an issue for him because when he was young, he just had to fight until it was over.
no, yeah,
And it,
it's
and
basically
and that's the way
like
I
oh
felt
my,
like. I feel
yeah.
like you're not thinking about like, am I going to gas out or am I think is
Nah,
it because
it's
like
fucking
your
go.
upbringing?
It's just go. You know what I mean? Like, man, I remember because I had cousins and shit, and my sister was a fucking brute too. Like, she used to fight with us too. But my cousins were like, I had older cousins, and I was the younger one, so they'd always fucking be like beating my ass and shit. But I get sick of their shit, and we'd just be fighting all day. And eventually, they'd get tired of fucking me up, and then I'd get on top of them and start fucking them up. And then it's like, and then I get like my hands are hurt from beating their ass, and I'd be like, "Fuck you," and I would just like leave. But no, yeah, you just like you learn to be tough. You know what I mean? You grow up old school in the country, and it's just it's you or him, and you sometimes you got to fucking take a few ass whoopings to get going.
So, with this win, it obviously catapulted you. I mean, it was kind of to me, it was a crossroads fight for both of you guys. Both
Yeah,
of you guys were coming up, and it just seemed like the fight that the winner was going to propel himself into the next stratosphere of stardom. You won the fight. Does it feel any different today thinking, okay, I'm not fighting for my job and I'm not fighting just for a paycheck, but now I'm fighting for a position to be a UFC champion?
nah, I feel like I've been chasing this dream, that same exact dream for fucking ever. You know what I mean? It's just plug and play. I fucked up a few times along the way, had to re-get my fucking head right, and just really jump back into the technique and stuff with my coaches and slow things down. Um, I've always been like a killer and like get on a motherfucker, but sometimes you got to slow down and like figure out the technique and like really, really just understand what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? And that I feel like helped me just get to another level. I think I'm more than ready for the belt. So it's just keep getting better one fight at a time, and whatever test they give me, pass it, and that will be like not be denied. You know what I mean?
So tell me something. What's maybe one of the most improved things that you've learned within like the last year or so as you're developing in your career? Like the thing you're most proud of that you're getting better at?
Um, I don't know. Like martial arts, it all comes back to like everything comes in tight. You know what I mean? So like just realizing that was a fucking huge thing for me. I was like, oh wow, they're all pretty much goddamn the same. You just got to figure out how to like get people to bite and give you those little openings so that you can uh move it forward on that shit. You know what I mean? Um, But I think like my elbow's in and is getting better, but I even got caught with a body kick, so I still got to work on that shit. Obviously, you know what I mean. Like, but I feel like that helps a lot, and like my technique awareness and like when to use what has just been like through the roof. I feel like when I fight, I don't have to think because it's all there. You know what I mean? I know exactly what's there during the time.
Yeah, man, I feel like you got a good grasp on this. I feel like you get it.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
I
you
don't
get
know,
it.
man. I get this shit. This is like the one thing in life that I'm fucking really good at. Everything else not so much. You know what I mean? Like my wife helps me stay straight on a lot of shit. But like fighting and fucking people up, the art of war, I fucking get that shit, bro, and I'm about that shit. So whatever. When the time comes, I'll be ready.
Brian, you got something?
Yep. I like to play matchmaker, and I know you said that you don't care who, you don't really pay attention, and I think that's great. That is energy that you don't need taken up in your space, but we have a podcast here, so
No,
gotta
I get
focus
it.
on that.
I get it.
I have a couple matches for you. I think that are good. I would like to see you. I think that you can get a top 5 opponent, but let's see like who's available and whatnot. I
Yeah.
like either Imavov or Marvin Vittori for your
I
next
tried
fight.
to fight Imavov in Paris one time, and he said no. So
You said
I
no.
don't know.
Fucker.
I don't know. That's just not a fight that he's not in the best shape. You know what I mean? He's really
Gotcha.
good, really fucking good striker. He's improved a lot on the grappling, but his cardio sucks. I don't know what the fuck.
Yep.
And like I'm one of those tests. You know what I mean? I'm tough where I can take a shot, and people will have to deal with my ass on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
man. Stay on the main event side. Keep those 5-round fights going, man.
no, yeah, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm definitely all for it.
You know, I saw the picture with you and getting matched up with Jack Hermanson, and I thought that was an interesting matchup. What do you think about that matchup?
I think he's really good too. Tough test. Like I know Brennan. Look at so the way I see it, kind of is I've beaten Brandon Allen. Mick Maynard was there front row when I beat Brandon Allen. Um, if I can get someone ahead of him, like give me a real test. You know what I mean? I'm fucking ready for it. Give me a hard test and I'll show up and I'll do what I do. Um, that way I can't be denied. I don't mind fucking fighting hard guys. You know what I mean? That's what I got in this shit for.
Man, I love to hear it, man. Ryan, you
Yeah.
got anything else before we cut my man loose?
No, man. Looking forward to your next one. Enjoy this win, and just keep up the great work.
Thank
Yeah,
you, man. I
man.
really
Listen,
appreciate it.
I'm a fan. I love the fact that you get it. Most fighters don't get it. They just out there throwing hands. I love that you have taken this approach in your career. Will definitely be a reflection of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing you fight more and looking forward to chopping it up with you before your next fight too, man. So, don't be a stranger, homie.
Yeah, please
Yeah,
come back.
thank you, and likewise. Yeah. Just tap in.
All right, my man. Have a good one, man.
All right, you guys have a blessed one.
Peace.
Later.
What a good dude.
What a good dude. What a friendly, good dude. And he gets it too in terms of the fight game, man. A lot of guys just out there throwing haymakers and praying to make contact with somebody's face. But just watching his warm up the one that I sent to Michelle Pajeda and them, they didn't figure it out. But just watching that warm up, I was like, yo, this dude gets it, man. The way he was transitioning between like his takedown attempts and his elbows and just kind of faking and mixing things up. I was like, yo, this dude's going to be really good. And he's going to be a problem for everybody because he has that suffocating pressure that people don't want to deal with. It's not that they can't. It's just they can't, but not necessarily that's the reason. It's just they don't want to have to.
Yeah.
Like knowing that that's on the other side. Like, dang, I don't want to have to deal with this dude. This dude's not going to stop all night.
The only person that I could think of that would have pressure, especially ground pressure like that, was like a Ben Askren. Like just that control, like, and he was just landing hammer strike and like the same thing, just miserable down there. It was,
dude. Yo, I actually compared him to Ben Askren today, and it sucks, man, because no one knows how good Ben Askren was.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows, man. Like remember when he was coming up, everybody thought that he was just like beating up cans in ONE UFC. Those dudes were pretty good. They weren't maybe UFC level, but they were good. They were decent fighters, like Sapo and those guys. Like they were decent fighters. Yep. But the reality is that Ben Askren was a terror. But he got too old. By the time he got to the UFC, he got too old. And then one goddamn knee changed his damn career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's and you know what? UFC needed that. It was so striking heavy. They need Ben Askren was such a refreshing reminder that this is mixed martial arts, that there could be entertainment everywhere, but people just convinced themselves that they didn't want to see people, whatever the case. Anyway, Anthony did awesome.
Shout out Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy. Thanks for coming on the show. So speaking of the weekend, also on that night, the PFL had Francis Ngannou return to the cage. I got to say this, man. I don't know if things come in waves, but I don't know if right now there's a better, more relatable and emotional storyline in all of MMA than the one Francis is having. And he's allowed us into this journey to ride with him on this journey. And I think everybody's happy for him. I think even at some level, Renan Ferreira was like, all right, man, if I'm going to go down, it might as well be to this dude.
Well, I can know one person that's probably not happy for him, Dana White. Dana
mad.
No, but Francis just seems like such an open book. I mean, I've never met him personally, but I know we have friends that have met him, and he seems very down to earth. And the emotional story, like you said, at first it's like, which one? Like, unfortunately, that story about his son, horrible. And then just his upbringing and his origin story, amazing. And he's just like me personally, like I don't really get caught up in who's the greatest heavyweight, but I just love seeing that guy succeed and seeing people like that succeed. I think that's the other reason why because it's like him and John Jones are day and night. He's got such a pure, genuine, nice story where John Jones is always getting in trouble. And I think that just magnifies what he's got going on,
Well, I get into that debate on the greatest heavyweight and all that. I do all the time. And for today and maybe this week only, will I allow people to suggest that Francis is the best heavyweight on the planet? Only for today, though, only because of the story. And that story is a part of the reason why people are saying it. I mean, it's obviously recency bias that they're saying, okay, Francis, he comes out and knocks out this guy in a round. I get it. I mean, but let's be honest. Tom Aspinall is still the best heavyweight in the world.
Ooh.
You don't think so?
I can't give it to him yet. I'm still with John Jones.
John Jones?
I'm still with John Jones.
Dude. All right. If you look at the rankings, like MMA fighting, their rankings just came out.
I don't care about the rankings. I care about.
I know. But wait a minute. But the rankings, it's not. Just hear me out on this with the rankings.
Okay.
The rankings came out, and when you look at the rankings, Tom Aspinall has beaten like 8 guys in the top 10. Okay, maybe not that many.
Okay,
but he's beaten a significant amount of guys that are in the top 7. He beat like most of them.
Mm-hmm.
John has beaten Cyril Gane. Francis beat none of them.
Well, I'm saying who would win in a fight. That's what I know what you're saying. I'm with that argument, but I'm saying if they signed today and had a camp and fought in a month, I think John Jones wins.
You think John Jones beats Tom Aspinall?
I do. Right now, I do.
What? What would make you even consider? What would make you think that?
I think that John, even though, and actually I had this similar conversation with somebody earlier today. Actually somebody that used to grapple with John. And John is, as much as people think John Jones is a striker, he's really got really slick grappling. And I could see with that long body, Tom, as much as Tom's athletic, I could see him beating Tom in the grappling aspect and just making Tom punch up enough to where it's going to take some off where John could own that space as well. And also too, like John's not really, I know he finished Cyril Gane. He's not really a finisher. He's a control fight guy. And where Tom is more of a finisher. And I really wonder what it'd be like in the later rounds. I think that John eats up the later rounds. Unless you think that Tom finishes John Jones.
No. So I I think you're only saying that because you're from Connecticut and he's from New York, and it's like
No, first of all, I was
in the grand scheme of things, like
I've like never defended that guy ever.
Like without the board, without the lines drawn in the sand.
I don't think he's the pound for pound. I think he's number one in pound. I think that I actually that's where it all fucked up because I think that it goes Alex then Tom, and then John or
hold on, you said Alex?
Yeah.
Alex beats Tom too?
No, I'm just saying pound for pound. No, I'm not saying that. No, actually, I think that Tom beats Alex. I think Tom beats Alex.
All right.
No,
but you think like for the pound for pound ranking, because it's crazy to think about this because these are all different things. And we confuse them often. We confuse pound for pound with the GOAT, with heavyweight accomplishments, with, these things like that. Because in terms of heavyweight accomplishments, no heavyweight is more accomplished. Competitive heavyweight is more accomplished than Francis.
Or Stipe.
Right? I mean, you can debate those.
Yeah.
You can debate those.
Especially because they're 1-1. There's no they're
1-1, right? So you can debate those. But in terms of who's the best right now, you're saying John, I say Tom. Is debatable. I think a lot of people right now, based on what Francis did, might think that Francis is the best. I don't know. These are all debatable things. I think Tom.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, a year from today, my mind changes. I think that John Jones, he can't beat him a year from now. I think that if John is going to fight Tom, it needs to be within the next 3 or 4 months, even if he has the fight with Stipe, which apparently is going to happen. But
does John retire after this?
Yeah, I think he retires. I don't think he retires in the cage. I think he just kind of goes away and realizes
he goes away, and then one night in like 2 years from now, he sends a drunk tweet.
Yeah,
I'm retired.
Exactly it. Or he gets arrested for being drunk. Oh, it was my retirement party. Surprise. Yeah. But no,
surprise everybody.
I think that's similar because, we brought this up before in another one. Like Mayweather fought Canelo early on in Canelo's career because he knew he couldn't beat him in 3 years. I think that's the theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the fact with John and Tom. I don't think he could beat him a year from now. I think that he's got to do it right now, and Stipe took that window. So that's why I don't think that fight ever happens with Tom and John.
Maybe not. I was going to say something about your theory on Canelo and Mayweather. I think there is some truth to that, but not as black and white as that, though.
Well, it's not really my theory, but yeah,
it's not your theory, but it's a general consensus that that's what he did. But I don't think it's as cut and dry as that in terms of like he cherry picked him, because you got to think about it, like when he fought Canelo, he was like in his mid to late 30s then.
Yeah,
and it wasn't, so he was just like, yo, this is an up and coming guy, and I might as well fight him now. I don't think he was really thinking like, and I might not be able to beat this dude in 5 years, so let me get him now and get this win over him today. I don't know if he was thinking that. A lot of people think he cherry-picked all of his opponents. I'm not 100% sure that was the case.
I just kind of think it was like, let me just get this one out of the way.
More so maybe there's some truth to that. I'm not going to deny that. Definitely not going to deny that. Another fight that happened over the weekend that I want to give a shout out to my man Rob Font. Gotta give a shout out to my man Rob Font.
I love Rob Font.
Who he did a couple things that I really liked this weekend. Not even just this weekend, but for his career. One, he switched camps. He was a long time New England cartel guy. I don't hold it against him for switching camps. Some people might be like, oh, he's a traitor, but dude, like you got to do what you got to do for your career, especially when you are on the cutting board and they're throwing all the young guys at you so that the young guys can make a name on you. So he switched camps. He started training with Faraz. He fought Kyler Phillips, who was an absolute stud, and he dogged him out. Props to Rob Font.
Dude, I always loved Rob Font. And, like, we kind of came up around the same time in that New England area. I remember he came down here. We hooked up a little bit when he came down to train at ATT. I love the way he trained. I love the way he fights. And like you said, I don't hold him against him. And it's too, whenever any of these people that give a fighter shit for training at a new camp, like, how long have you been at your job? And
man, it's fucking like, damn.
Yeah. Like, shit. Anyway, but no, I'm happy for him too. I love what he brings to the game. I love what he brings to the table. He's fought a lot of tough dudes. I remember when before he was in the UFC, he was fighting up at what's that promotion in Rhode Island? I can't think of right now. But anyway,
NES?
No.
Rhode Island?
It's in Jimmy Birchfield. It's not NES. Fuck. I'll
Bum Fights?
Huh?
Bum Fights?
No, yeah. It wasn't Bum Fights. He was the Bum Fight champion. There was also Reality Kings. Reality Fighting.
Let me check. I need to check your search history.
CES MMA. Thank you.
Yeah, CES.
Yeah. Reality Kings was Kimbo. May he rest in peace. So CES. So he was up there, and there was other big names or bigger names, and then there was Rob Font. A lot of people up there, they protected themselves. But then you look at Rob, and Rob fought all these people. And Rob's like, damn, like, this dude's fucking good. Why isn't he getting the credit? And then finally he got the call and he made a name for himself. And I feel like he's been in the UFC for like 6 or 7 years, right? 8 years.
Yeah, he's been in for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in for a minute. Mm-hmm. And then one last dude on the card, Cameron Smotherman, one of Eve Edwards' guys, spoke to him about his journey, took the fight on a day's notice. He was in Saudi Arabia, the corner of Rafi and Stotts. They called him there. He flew back to Vegas, made weight, and beat Jake Hadley. What a stud in his UFC debut. What a stud. What a stud, man. And he told me that he had a fight booked in December. And he said he didn't tell nobody this, but he said after that fight, he was going to retire because he just felt like he wasn't going to make it. Like, he had been cutting his teeth with this so long. He got on a Contender Series and lost his fight on Contender Series. And he said that it just wasn't worth it to him anymore to grind as a fighter. And he said that after his fight in December, he was going to retire. Wow. Fast forward. He gets the call, 2 days notice, flies home, makes the weight, and gets himself a 4-fight deal in the UFC. Talk about, man, just beautiful stories, man. Yeah. I love to hear it.
For serious, man. Good for you, Mr. Smotherman. Definitely would love to have this dude on.
Yeah, we got to get him on. But Ryan, it's been real. I appreciate you as always. We will chop it up again next week. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, comment. If you didn't like it, tell your friends about it. Maybe they will enjoy it. But on that note, this court is adjourned.
Peace.